So, I think this might be an official start to Trade Tuesday Season 2, or 2.5. I'm just driving into town just now, which is probably stupid doing it at 4 o'clock, so I'm going to be in traffic most of the way, I think. I bought a couple of guitars, or at least one. Jim Deacon Stratocaster, which is missing a saddle. But Jim Deacons are funny guitars. If I'm right, I bought a really good one. If I'm wrong, I bought a decent one. They're not, I don't think you get really bad Jim Deacons. They're just maybe not fantastic. It's a tobacco sunburst. Using my extensive knowledge of looking at the pictures quite a bit, it's got like a deep glossy neck on it, which is normally a really good sign. And it's got this sort of handwriting type logo, which I think, as I remember having a Jim Deacon that I bought at the same time as my Westone Spectrum, and it was a really good guitar. And it's like I didn't sell it, I sold it too cheap, because I just thought Jim Deacon, oh, they're rubbish. And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way. So that should be good. But looking at the top of it, if you look at the sunburst on a Strat, where it goes round, see the bit when it where your forearm cuts it, it's kind of like a sort of curved bit. See, if it's a plywood body, normally the sunburst looks kind of funny there because they can't let the wooden coloured bit go over the bit that's sloping, because then you'll see it's plywood. So this one has the sunburst right to the edge, like the way a real Strat would, so therefore I think it's probably a full piece of wood. Might not be the case. The other guitar, the woman said she was moving house and just wanted rid of it. She had sent me another ad. She's got an Encore Strat, which she wanted the same amount of money for, so I'm offering a bit less for that one. It's covered in stickers, but kind of just a sort of a general tobacco sunbursty Strat, so that might end up being, I don't know, an Iron Brew or a Buckycaster or something like that. I'm sure I've had Encore again. I don't know if I've ever really had any truly bad Encores. But a lot, like with a lot of these things, a lot of these companies did make decent guitars. It's just that the ones you remember, the ones you always see for sale, are the ones that only cost like 50 quid new. And there's an Encore one I always talk about, which I've not actually seen one for years. Used to be able to get it in Argos, and it was like 50 quid new, something like that. And it was it had like one humbucker in the middle position, sort of like a wee mini Strat. I think it was probably full size, but a slightly small bodied Strat that had one humbucker in the middle position. And I just feel like if they put that humbucker in the bridge position, it would have been a cool looking guitar, but they didn't. They put it in the middle, so it's just kind of like, not really that keen on that particular model, just for the sake of, I don't think it'd be easy to sell. Whereas a Strat, everybody kind of likes a Strat a bit. And I think the Jim Deacon one actually looks quite nice. It looks like maybe quite a nice Strat, so maybe some sort of fancy wiring going in that. I really like that the Iron Brew Van Halen guitar that I made and then decided I had to keep. So it had 3 single coil pickups, it didn't have the reverse wound one in the middle, so it just, I couldn't do my humbucker trick, so I added in an extra pickup and then a new type of switch, which I thought worked really well, just a 3-way switch. So when you've got the switch in the down position, you've just got a Strat, and then when you put the switch into the middle position, it hot wires the extra pickup in series with whatever it is the 5-way switch is doing, so you end up with 5 humbuckery sounds. And then if you put the switch up the way, it acts as a Gilmore switch, which means you can it adds the neck pickup into any position, so you end up with, I can't remember exactly how many sounds it was, 10, 11, 12, I think it's just 12 sounds, but they were all really useful and really good. And also in that guitar I noticed the high pass filter seemed to work really well with that particular guitar, so I might do that as well, so that might make it a little bit more sellable or tradable if it's going to be a Tradie Tuesday thing. Somebody's maybe got something that maybe needs a little bit of work done to it. There's another guitar I hummed and hawed for about half an hour this morning looking at it. It was a sort of not quite a double cut Les Paul, but going in that sort of direction. Didn't have any pickups or any tuners on it. It had holes from a Bigsby, and it was 50 quid. Set neck, it looked sort of good, but it's a kind of unknown element. I'm trying not to buy guitars for myself, and any guitars I keep for myself are generally going to be early 80s and Japanese, because that's kind of what I've ended up specialising in my collection. Or at least that's the plan anyway. Basically, I find it very difficult to sell anything that's early 80s in Japan. So I end up stuck with a few. Yeah, I think the woman's got a couple of amps as well, and it was like, I don't really want the amps. She was selling them, two of them for 15 quid or £7 each, and it's like, the thing is, a wee 10 watt amp's really not any use. One of them is a custom, which I had one of them actually. I gave it to the drummer in the Sabbath band. It's a really solid looking wee amp, so it's a well built looking thing, but it is just a 10 watt amp, and it's like a 10 watt amp is a bit rubbish, even a sort of good one. These days you can now get your Black Stars and modelling amps, which are a completely different ballpark. They're not it's not the same thing as what like an old fashioned 10 watt practice amp used to be. When I started playing the guitar, a 10 watt, the only thing anyone ever had was a 10 watt practice amp, and they never sound really good, really, ever, really. I mean, you can make them work, and it's better than not having an amp. I mean, I can survive with one. If you're having a jam with your pals or something, and you're drinking a couple of acoustics, and you've got like a wee 10 watt amp with an electric guitar, and it's totally fine. It's just, it doesn't have that really pleasurable, oh, this has sounded fantastic thing going on about it. And the other amp was, I can't even remember the make, a very similar, same as the BB Blaster, same as so many of these amps are exactly the same amp in a slightly different shaped box with a slightly different badge on it. There's so many of them are just whatever the G10A they seem to be called. You know, it's got like an overdrive switch, or sometimes it's an overdrive dial. You know, like a mini I. The thing is, they're all right. It's just it's not really worth selling them, because if you try and sell them on eBay, you've got postage, which is going to be sort of the same, and if you try and sell them on Facebook, you've really got to be to somebody really close by. So it's kind of what I tend to do with the wee 10 watt amps is kind of just give them to people, or if someone's, you know, trying to haggle for a guitar, you just go, well, do you want a wee amp with it instead? So yeah, just, you know, I don't like throwing things away. I would never throw it out. So whether I end up with the amp, I don't know. I've offered basically I've said I'll buy the Jim Deacon because I think it looks really good. I've sort of made a couple of offers on the Encore and with the amps, and I'll see what happens. I think, to be honest, the way the woman is talking, it's she just wants rid of them. I think she said she was moving house, so basically something like that is probably not really so much the money thing. It's more that I just want rid of them. I don't want to put them in the bin. Just come take the lot away. I can stop dealing with it, and I can deal with all the other things that happen when you're trying to organise moving house, you know, packing up and selling other stuff and all that lark. That'd be interesting. So I did my usual. I was a wee bit chatty in the message, making wee rubbishy jokes, so she likes me. So on the way home, I told her that I'm using her as an excuse to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken on the way home, and I've got like a thing which I'm just going to go in and ask about it. I bought a packet of crisps a couple of weeks ago. Max Double Crunch KFC Zinger flavour, and it says on it you get a free KFC meal, you get 2 for the price of 1. So I'm going to try it anyway to see if I can get 2 meals, because the thing that I always think with, like, maybe not McDonald's gets always a bit rubbish, but places like Burger King and KFC, they are nice, but they're awfully expensive. Whereas if I'm getting it for half price, then suddenly it might actually be quite nice. So I might end up with 2 Zinger Burger Tower meals and a litre of Coke. Yeah, that sounds like a fun evening in for myself. I'm opted for going through Bishop Briggs, which may have been a really stupid idea, rather than going in the motorway, because there's roadworks in the motorway. So I doubt I'm going to hit the 4:30 time slot I said I was going to be. I'm going to be a bit late. See what happens. Oh. time just ran away from me today. I fixed up a guitar yesterday for a guy who works in the Blitzkrieg shop. The wiring was just a mess at my Telecaster, and I did a video of that, and then it ended up it just took too long. It's really annoying. So I need to see what I end up with. The editing thing's just, and also YouTube's changed its mind about how long it's going to take to upload videos. It's put another thing in where you have to submit something and then it checks it, and then once it's uploaded, it sometimes starts processing, and sometimes it goes, nah, I'll think about processing later. So really, I think possibly the days of me being able to just bang a video up, you know, the way I was looking at it, if I could get the video finished by, and I'm talking about half-hour video here, if I get the video finished by 6 o'clock, I can pretty much have it online at 7. I think that's kind of not going to happen anymore. So I really need to start getting a bit more into doing tomorrow's video as opposed to doing today's video, and then just gives me a bit more time to actually get it up. I think I was a wee bit late last night. It said, you know, I just did a short video, just kind of a bit just not organised enough. Anyhow, I don't think there's really going to be anything particularly exciting going on the way in here, so this has just added 10 minutes to this. And maybe this will be quite a time travel episode. It's possible I will use this for the Trade Tuesday Season 2 startup. Not really sure how the money works, because the first season when I bought guitars for myself, I used the YouTube payment, and then the second one I got the second check, and I used that for buying myself guitars, and then I did get a check at this, was it 21st of December? Either the 21st of December or the 21st of January, I got a check, or I got money through, and I need to look up to see how much it actually was. I wish they'd put it into PayPal. Instead they just put it into my bank account, so it's like it just disappears. At least if it was in PayPal, it means I can kind of see it and get to it dead quickly. So this will count in, and I'll see how much money it counts, and I might be able to do a tradey thing. And I think again, the sensible way to probably do it better is to buy one guitar for, I think it was 120 quid I got for like 2 months, the one just after Christmas. It would be sensible to buy one for 120 quid, but I'm not. I'm going to buy 3 or 4 for that, I think, and then trade up, because that's what I know about. And also, it's quite comforting because I know that I can buy these sort of guitars, and if you're paying 30 or 40 quid for a guitar, all I can really lose is 30 or 40 quid. And even then, by looking at it, you know, say the neck's twisted, or something completely wrong with it, I've still got the body, that's with a tenor, and you get the bridge and the pickups and the tuners and all these wee bits all kind of add up, so I really can't lose with that. Whereas if I start venturing into ones that I'm not really that sure about, like a 200-300 pound guitar that I don't really know much about, it's possible that I just end up losing a couple of hundred quid on it. You know, it's like, I don't want to do that. I know you've got to risk it to win big, but I'm not really that bothered about winning big, to be honest. As long as I do decent out it, and almost when I sell guitars or trade them, I never sell things for more than what I think they're worth. Well, I don't know. It's a hard one to describe, because it'd be okay if I found a Les Paul on the street, I wouldn't sell it for what I think it's worth. I would sell it for what it would sell on eBay. I wouldn't, even though I don't think a Les Paul's worth £2,000. But if that's what it's worth, then that's what it's worth. So all the guitars I sell basically play better than what they should for what you're paying for them. Anyway, enough rabbiting. 15 minutes of just talking nonsense. I'll catch you all later. And I'm now 2 guitars and 2 amplifiers richer. Lovely girl, they're just moving to Aaron. I'm totally so jealous of that. Yeah, I think, to be honest, I just wanted rid of this stuff. I think I could almost definitely have haggled her down a good bit more, but I don't mind. I paid a reasonable price, and that's fine. So if everyone's happy, then I'd rather do that. I'm sure I could have, knocked 20 quid off it if I just go try to play hardball, but it's not worth it. Especially not when people are nice. If people are nice, then just missed. I can't have missed the motorway already, can I? I don't even know where I am. Is this the road I came down? That's for me not being too busy thinking about this Kentucky Fried Chicken that I'm going to have. I've got a feeling I've made a mess of this. I'm not really recognising this bit. Aye. Oh no, maybe I do. I think if I go left here, I'm back on. This is where I came in. Or straight on. Am I just going to admit defeat and put the sat nav into how to get home? It seems to be cheating, doesn't it? Man, I don't need no sat nav. The danger of sat nav is you just end up following it blindly. I learned these lessons before. And as soon as the sat nav stops working, you don't have a clue where you are. You don't remember driving past an oil refinery. You don't remember anything. If I was doing it this way, I'll remember funny looking buildings and landmarks, so I can actually find my way home. Assuming that I'm going in the right direction. I just get a feeling I've missed it. Oh well, anyway, rock on. Well, I wasn't paying attention enough, was I? So I ended up going a bit of a detour. Too busy thinking about this Kentucky Fried Chicken. There's also roadworks everywhere, which is really annoying. Yeah. So that was really it. I should have been here 15 minutes ago, but on the motorway, missed the junction. It was a bit of motorway I'd never been on before. Ended up heading towards Greenock. Did a flippy, ended up going back to where I came from and then doing a loop. Yeah. So basically, yeah, I'm an idiot. So there we go. Okay. Well, after all that, and having been salivating over the thought of having 2 KFCs to myself, the KFC was closed. Well, it wasn't closed, but it was shut up for COVID, so it was only the drive-through, which had a queue of about 10 folk, and I'm pretty sure reading the small print on the back of that packet of crisps, well, I was started chucking it down. So I'll just shout, yeah. So I didn't even, I just went into it and then just turned around. So I'll just have to make myself my own dinner when I go home. Yeah, I was really in the mood for a KFC as well. I was going to get a Zinger Tower Burger meal and then a free Zinger Tower Burger meal. At least that was the plan. But it wasn't meant to be. I couldn't be bothered sitting at the, you know, the speaker on the wall thing trying to explain it. I was trying to redeem a coupon for a packet of crisps that I got a couple of weeks ago. I'd rather deal with a person. I would not be out cycling in this, and if I was out cycling in this, I would not be cycling in the middle of the main road when there's a pavement running right down the sides all the way in this very fast and dangerous piece of road. Cyclists are nutters. I'm totally up for using the bike in certain locations, like in China where it's amazing, where people don't drive into you, or in Amsterdam where you've got your own cyclopaths, but people who drive bikes on the tiny country roads in Scotland are insane. And I think it boils down to people who can't drive, because I think if they did know how to drive, they would realise how dangerous it was being on a bike. And again, I've said this before, yes, morally and legally you're totally right. It's totally fine to drive a bike on this road, totally legally, totally, yep. And when you're lying in hospital with a broken back or dead, then you can be morally correct, but you've still been ran over. Dangerous. Wow, I'm chucking it down. Also, being on a bike, you'd be absolutely soaked after 10 seconds of this. Seriously, standing water and everything. Yeah. Well, that's what just back in Turkey. Catch you later. Well, I had decided not to go to McDonald's anyway, but the queue was right out the car park. So it's actually stopped raining. Oh, gooses. know if you can see that, that's the dung heap I did a video from last week. Looking significant. Oh, there's sheeples there as well. Geeses and sheeples. Smashing. Yeah. So I'm behind this bus. Hopefully I won't get stopped at these lights. And hopefully this is entertaining enough for me not to edit it out. And the bus stopped at the lights. Boo. Wow, those sheep look miserable, don't they? You can't even really see them. Anyhow. So I'm back, and I never got my KFC, which I was raging about, gibbered quite a lot on the way home about that. So I do have 2 new guitars. I think this will be my Trade Tuesday start-off point for season 2. It seems like a reasonable place to start. Couple of wee amps. If anyone's after a wee 10 watt amp who wants to swap it for anything. Yeah, so this one's a Legend LG10 volume bass trip. This one doesn't even have distortion. Wow. This looks like your typical BB Blaster, but they've normally got a distortion switch. This one just has volume, bass and treble. I'll do a demo video, just in case. One of those things that I get quite a lot of hits on a video if I do a demo of, you know, like a wee amp like this, because people find one in the garage and wonder what it is, so they type it into YouTube and I get a view. So I'll probably do that anyway. I'm sure it'll be alright. They're all basically the same amp. So there's a Legend, and the other one is a Custom, which are really, really well built little things. I think the one I had before was a bigger one than this. It was maybe a 15 watt. This is a 10 gain voice volume 10 watt guitar amplifier. Well, it's got an overdrive switch as well. So this one was probably actually pretty good. But again, not really worth any money. By the time you stick it on eBay, you know, what's the postage on that going to be? Like a 10 or 15 quid or something like that, and it's like, that's kind of what the amp's worth. So I might give, I did it before. I did make a Buckfast amp before. I've never made an Iron Brew one. So I mean, can I just paint it orange, sort of thing? Make it a custom, or maybe cut off this bit of the K to make it a C, so it's a custom, because then it could be a custom. Yeah. So that's enough gibberish about that. Here's the wee Encore Strat, quite light. It's got a hot chip sticker on the back. Wire block, I don't know what any of these things are. Those stickers look like they've been put on relatively simply. So what's missing is, it doesn't have a tremolo bar, which you kind of expect these things not to have. Looks in reasonably good condition. It's missing a B string, but I mean, it's got all the tuners on it. It's got the not so good looking type of tuners, but I have built one of these before. I painted one of these purple and yellow, and I sold it. It's actually in Blitzkrieg shop just now, and it's a fantastic guitar. I didn't cover over the bit that said Encore, which I probably should have. So this one, again, what I was saying there about in the car about the sunbursts, you can normally tell a plywood bodied guitar by the fact the sunburst kind of does that over this bit, because this bit here, because it's sloped, you would see that it was plywood. So this one won't be plywood either. It's very light. These are good guitars though. So these are the sort of things, if you're looking for a guitar to do up, you know, you could do much worse than starting off with one of these. This is miles ahead of those horrible ones that I keep smashing up. This is an actual guitar. It looks alright. I suppose, did I turn that amp on when I come in? See if it works. I wasn't expecting it to be in tune, but no B. So I'm not decided what I'm going to do with this one. The thing is, it's actually quite nice. Once those stickers are off, it's been cleaned up a bit. I put a new switch tip on it. It's new strings on it and set it up. The action's a bit high, not horrendously so. It's not unplayable. This is, I mean, got a camping guitar, rather than buying one of your wee travel guitars or Hofner Shorty or whatever it is for £100, get something like this for 20, 30 quid. Okay, it needs a string, but apart from that, and it needs to be, these stickers need to be peeled off, but apart from that, it's kind of, you're there, and it's like if you're paying 20 quid or 30 quid for a guitar, it doesn't really matter if you spill beer on it or it gets left out in the rain or somebody pinches it, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, so that's quite a decent guitar. See, the problem is I know that if I Buckfasterify this or iron brew it, it'll be worth more money. But I just don't like taking a guitar that's actually alright and, painting it stupid colours or something like that. This is quite a nice wee guitar. But I can't keep it because I'm doing this to try and trade up, so that'll be up for trading for something at some point. And the other one, which came in a gig bag, which I hoard gig bags because I don't have enough bags for all my guitars. So this is the Jim Deacon one, which is, I did have a quick look at these for, this is a nice guitar. I would actually argue this has got a V-shaped neck. A V-shaped neck on a Jim Deacon? Yeah, I think I would argue it's a V-shaped neck, but I mean, this is the one, if you get the one that's got that logo in the headstock, it's this era. This is obviously not the cheaper end of what they were doing. I don't know whether they all produced at the same time or not. There's no sign of a serial number, but the neck on this is absolutely gorgeous. It's got Cluson style tuners on it. This is missing a bridge saddle, but I'm just assuming I've got one somewhere. So this one might be coming up for sale with an extra bridge saddle. Something funny. It doesn't normally have black rating, does it? On strat knobs? Is that normal? No, it's normally silver. Yeah, so it's kind of weird. It's got black rating on the knobs. They might not be original. This is definitely solid wood, and I would say looking at it, it's 3 pieces. I hate finding guitars that I like. I suppose we'll see if this one works. I mean, the electrics don't really bother me because you can make them work. I think if you're using that fuzz bass pedal, then you can pretty much plug any guitar and it sounds the same. But then this is a really, really nice neck on this one. It's got a skunk stripe, which obviously you don't need when you've got a separate, you've got a rosewood fingerboard. But even just, I wonder how you find out the dates of these things. Because this just seems like a decent guitar. This is a Squire Classic vibe. This isn't a Squire Affinity. You know what I mean? It's just nicer. Yeah. Again, I can't paint this. Can I? I think I'll paint that. It did easy to make it a Bucky casting. Just paint it green, paint the scratch plate. But I think what I might do is I might do the same thing I did on the Bucky, the Van Halen, the Iron Brew Van Halen guitar, and put an extra pickup in here and make it do have like a wee 3-way switch. I say it's quite microphonic, but that might be to do with the. Oh. I need to replace that bridge pickup. That's totally microphonic. Even if I talk into it, Neil Young did that one time. Ah! Okay, so you can't talk into it. It just seems very on the bridge pickup, the middle pickup doesn't do it. So that bridge pickup might have to get ripped out and changed. I'll try and use that cover to try and make it the same colour. Yeah, no, it's got a tremolo on it as well. Appears to work okay. So by the time this comes out on Tuesday, this is well, it was nearly a week away. This should probably be ready for swapping. Not yet decided what I'm doing with either of these. I just sell. See, the swappy thing doesn't really work if I'm going to try and do this as a sort of beginner's guitar pack. Because I'm sitting here thinking, you know, you're talking about £100 for a nicely and well set up guitar and a wee 10-watt amp seems quite reasonable, but that's not going to be much for the swappy thing, because I really want to be swapping with people who have a guitar sitting doing nothing. You know, it's like one they've not played for a couple of years that, oh, something went wrong with the output jack, it's just sat in a cupboard, oh, I don't want it anymore, but it's actually like a Gibson or something like that. Yeah, so you swap it for a Jim Deacon that works. Yeah, I mean, so much snobbery going on about this. I would put 5 strings on it and set this up. I would gig with this absolutely no problem at all. I would maybe be a wee bit concerned about that microphonic pickup. But that sometimes that gives it a really good sound if you've got. Be good for feedbacking and. Rock on! And press the button. Hey YouTube, I didn't need to start it like that. So this is a Trade Tuesday. It's now 6 days after the bit you just, after probably just before the advert break. Yeah, so the Jim Deacon, the Encore, the 2 amps. I've now done videos from them. This is the premiere of the Jim Deacon. So I'm going to talk about this, you know, a wee bit of a demo of it. I meant to bring that Sakai through if I would put that in the trade, see if anyone wants to trade for that as well. So if anyone's interested in swapping something better than these for these, but these are pretty damn cool. Right, so this, I said in the 5 minutes ago in the other video, so I always got a V-neck. It's got a slight V-neck. That's not why it feels weird though. It genuinely wasn't until I was looking at putting a switch in, like I did on this guitar. I put a switch in there, which gives it lots of sounds. Well, I was looking at it thinking, these seem awfully close together. And then it wasn't until after I was doing that, then I put in this humbucker, thinking it looks awful big. It's actually a small scale guitar. It seems so obvious now that I didn't even notice. It's like it's almost exactly the same dimensions as a Strat, but it's just, if I line them up, you know, so it's a 24-inch scale neck, and as far as I can tell, it's exactly the same proportions as a Strat. It's just, you know, they've taken 1.5 inches off the scale, and then they've just reduced everything else by 5% or whatever it is to make it fit apart from the pickups. Yeah, so this, as I said before, this has got an absolutely amazing neck on it. It really is. It feels really small and thin, but still quite V and quite deep there. But partly it's because I think the whole thing's small. What's it normally? It's normally a 42mm nut, isn't it? It's a 38mm nut. See, just everything's just a wee bit smaller. But and 24-inch scale is not even like your Squier, your Duosonic scale. It's 22.5, I think. So it's kind of like a Fender's 25.5, and a Telly or a Strat normally, and a Gibson would be 24 3/4. So this is just shorter scale than a Gibson, but not miles away. So I was thinking, oh, short scale. The only strings I've got just now are 9, so I put 9s on it, thinking I'm probably gonna have to go up a bit. That'd be totally fine. It's like, the small scale doesn't, when you start going down to 20-inch and 22-inch, it does make things a bit floppier and things a bit different. This just feels a wee bit weird. Everything else seems the same. Yeah, so it had a microphonic bridge pickup, which kind of suited me anyway because I wanted to do something else with it. So ditched the bridge pickup. This is a part. I'm going to say partly because of the colour, and I thought it would look cool. It did annoy me the fact that the angle of it, so there's an extra hole there next to that. It's also Allen bolts. You adjust the height of this. That doesn't really matter. Yeah, so this is, I've seen this pickup before in late 80s Tanglewood's Honor Arbor series and something else. It's a mad pickup. It's kind of, so you can see it's got like a plastic frame that's actually part of the pickup. You know, this is like, you know, normally this would just be open or it would have a cover on it. It doesn't. It's, so these two called bobbins kind of fit into a sort of plastic frame thing, and it kind of looks a bit like a DiMarzio Super Distortion sort of thing. It's also got the adjustment screws so you can actually tilt it, which is, I think, a better idea. So it kind of, my pal was like, oh, that's a, you know, Washburn power sustain. There's nothing like it. It's a completely different type of pickup. I do actually remember doing a pickup before, going back a couple of years. My pal Craig's had an all black Tanglewood. That's why it's, you know, Tanglewood, because Tanglewood's are all these companies. It's just a brand, so it could be exactly the same guitar as the Hondo or whatever other ones it was kicking about. And to clean it up, I think it was his first guitar or something like that. It was like totally covered in stickers, manky, and the bridge pickup wasn't working. And I was looking at it, and it was like, oh, he didn't want to change it. He wants to keep it new, so it was like, right. And then I actually took one of the coils of his pickup was burst, so I actually took the coil out of another one of these, which is, I don't even know what ever happened to that pickup, in it, and I put it in to replace it, and everything on the guitar was black apart from it had one cream coil, which I actually thought looked pretty cool, man, but it made it work. Yeah, so why does it get two levers? Basically, this lever just does the same as the switch does on the Encore. This is my latest switching thing, and I spent ages. In fact, I did a video of me doing this, so I'll maybe not talk about it too much. But I was really annoyed with this switch. Basically, does 25 sounds. Well, 25 sounds if you include the phase pickup. That was just I just put the phase in just because. You get how many more sounds by putting a phase switch in? 10 more. Okay, worth it. You know, normally in a Strat you get 2 more. But the thing that annoyed me was this wee mini switch. What I wanted to do with it, I spent a whole night trying to make it do it with an on-off-on switch. An on-off-on switch, which I'll probably talk about the other thing, is pretty cheap, pretty common. You can get a bag, I've got like a bag of them there, maybe 10 or something like that in a bag. Thinking on-off-on switch, they're dead good, they're like 50p or something. And then, but I could only do it with an on switch, which I have one of, which is now in that guitar, and they're like a $5 each. So I was like, trying to find some way of doing it without I can get 12 sounds. I can do that with an on, but the extra thing is too cool. So I was a bit annoyed about that. Also, when I started taking this to bits, I was thinking, I'm just going to kind of do the same thing. So basically, this is the same wiring. It's wired as 3 single coils, so you've just got a Strat, as you would expect. This coil here, which is the one that's the opposite wind from the other 3, so these 3 are all the same, and this coil here is different, the humbucking coil, so you can turn that on, basically. So if you put this lever, the second pickup selector lever is a 3-way, so at the bottom you've just got a Strat. In the middle it puts this Allen in parallel with your 5-way lever, so you end up with all the there's the bridge on its own, and then there's with the in parallel, and if you put the next one you get a humbucker. So you basically get all 5 positions, and every one of them has the pickup on its own as a normal Strat, the pickup in whatever it is you've got selected in parallel with this, which gives you hum cancelling in all the positions. Also, when you're in the neck position, incidentally, that one and this one gives you almost the Dave Gilmour thing. You know, the Dave Gilmour thing would technically be that, but it's that. So you get that sound. So there's a neck pickup on its own. There it is with the Gilmour. So I think it's. I like this because I quite like the 2 levers, because it just, you look at this and you go, oh, that's interesting guitar, why is it 2 levers? So basically it's just you get your 15 sounds out of that. So you get 3 times 15, you get Strat sounds, you get all the Strat sounds with in hum cancelling mode, and then you get all the strat sounds in humbucking mode. So in the bridge position, when you're on the bucker, it's just a proper, it's the sound you would expect from a humbucker. All the other ones are a little bit, that's a triple bucker. So you get this one, and this. And then the middle is kind of a middle bucker. The neck would be like another triple bucker, and then that one is like a really wide range humbucker. But basically the one that, if you're in the bridge position, you've got like a full on humbucker. Strings are feeling a little bit strange because I've not used my fast foot on it yet. I think your normal strings feel a bit like elixirs. You get some really good bends in this slightly smaller neck profile that you get. Probably do separate videos for this and the Encore. So basically the Encore is it's exactly the same wiring. It's just that on this one, I had this out on the live stream, you might not have seen that. Yeah, so it's got a funny looking pickup. That is half of a hot rail I got from China. The hot rails are not expensive. This was one I was trying to be, you know, I was going to be like a pure super economy, and I've done quite a lot of I've done videos of this, so you'll be seeing videos of me actually building this. I'm also going to do a video of me taking off this sticker because I forgot to take off that one. Yeah, so basically this does exactly the same as this. It's just instead of having the three-way lever, which I think this is a more advanced version, I would have said. This is just like a three-way toggle switch, but it does the same idea. It either knocks the extra rail in series or parallel, it gives you the 15 sounds, and it's got a, if you pull out the, I was going to say tone control. It's not a tone control, it's a high pass filter. You pull that out, it reverses the added in coil, the rail in this case, so you get another 10 phased sounds, so 25 in total. As I was saying there with the tone controls, this one's the same, so you've got the master tone. Maybe put a bit less distortion so you can hear it. Or maybe a bit. Clean. Yeah, so the screen is just going higgledy piggledy. Don't know what happened with the screen there. Camera seemed to have gone all funny. Anyway, so I was talking about the tone controls. Yeah, so just in normal strat mode, neck pickup, tone control, just a master tone, so it does it for everything. But the other tone control is no longer, it's now roll off the, that's the neck pickup. So it takes away the bass. So you can take away the bass and take away the treble. So the bottom one's a normal tone control and this one's a sort of opposite. If you turn them both down, you can pretty much turn the whole guitar off. You can bring up the bass or you can bring up the treble. Yeah, I've just found it worked really well on the Bucky, you call it the Bucky Van Halen, the Iron Brew Van Halen. It just worked really well in that guitar. I've actually improved it a little bit as well. When you're doing a high pass filter, I was thinking about it, it seems to be on that guitar between sort of 10 and 8 is your entire what it does. Whereas if you use a volume control rather than a tone control, so a B pot rather than A pot, it works much better. So you get much more control over it. Yeah, so it's 5. It's just, it's kind of, it's a much better ramp. Yeah, I know. Obviously, well, now I've got it on. This has got the phase as well, because I wanted to change the pot, and again, because the same in that guitar, How many sounds do you get by adding a phase switch? 10. Okay. So it does an awful lot of very thin sounds. So there's the neck out of phase with this coil. It's quite quiet. And then this is it in a humbucker. Out of phase. And then you get these two now. And you can always take away some of the... So it's you kind of almost getting into infinite sounds territory with this, and with that, basically, because they're both exactly the same. It's just that this one's got this a humbucker in it, and that one, instead of having a humbucker, it's got like an extra rail, which actually works out really well because the rail's quite powerful. It's more powerful than the other pickup, so it kind of you end up with more of a boost with the humbucker in that one, I think, than you get with the humbucker in this one. Okay, so bridge, not in, just bridge and then bridge humbucker. Yeah, definitely enough. I'll leave it. This video is already quite long. I'll do a jam video with this at some point. So yeah, and videos for these have gone up. A Legend amp I might throw it in with this. I think with the trades I'll probably give away a free t-shirt as well, so you can add that into the... And this amp was surprisingly alright. I couldn't believe it. I was really expecting to just get a video out it and then just bin it or give it to someone for free, but actually playing through it actually works. It's like, well, you get an amp that works. This one's slightly better. A custom KGE10. It's got a distortion on it. It's slightly better than that one, but I'm still surprised at it. The thing about that one is I kind of expected it to be pretty good. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty good. Whereas this thing I just thought, my god, that's hideous. There's no way that's ever going to work. It looks like it's made of, it's terrible, but it's surprisingly good. Yeah, and obviously the two guitars, this one, which is a 24-inch scale, a high-spec guitar. I don't know why, it's not the sort of thing I would expect for a mini guitar to be, or is it a mini guitar? It's kind of, is it a 7/8 or something? I don't really know what to call it. I was going to invent my own one. I was going to call it surf scale, because that sounds cooler than mini or junior or anything like that. So surf scale is, and it's kind of like a... Actually, what's the scale length of a Jaguar? Is it not 24-inch? It kind of feels a bit like a Jaguar, apart from it's in a strat shape. Yeah, and even sound-wise, it's kind of got a wee bit of a Jaguar thing going on. There's a Jaguar I'm thinking of, it is. Setup. And actually, to be honest, when you start using the phase things, you're kind of into Jaguar sounds as well. I never really got that until right now. So this is kind of, is it like a Jaguar maybe? Cool humbucker, and then as I said, this switch here, when it's all the way down, is just a strat, and then when you put it in the middle, it's a strat with a hum cancelling coil added in, and if you put it in the neck, it's a strat that makes humbuckers out of all the pickups using this extra coil. And then it's got a high pass filter, which is like a reverse tone control. It sucks away the bass, and then you've got a tone control which sucks away the treble and the volume. And if you pull this up, it's reverse the phase of this pickup, which means that when you're in parallel or series mode, you've got an extra 10 sounds, 25 in total. This one does have a treble arm. I need to loosen off the spring. It's a little bit well, probably not. It's actually probably better that way, being a little bit stiff, so you don't accidentally bash it. But it does work. It's very phasey, isn't it? There's definitely a total difference when you use you add the extra pickup in parallel versus the bridge pickup. Then in parallel. But what I do want to show you before I give this up is if I put on far too much distortion, Can you hear the noise? So that's it, and that's with the fuzz pedal on, and I hold the guitar up to the speaker, which is bad. So that's it, just the bridge pickup on its own. That's it in hum cancelling mode, but still the same. The difference is that's the noise, or that's the noise, and in humbucking mode, it's still hum cancelling. So the if you're really mad into, if you like to encounter problems, ideally it would sort of mean that you could just use single coil sounds, unless you came upon a problem, and then you could just go, alright, get an interference, I'll just engage the hum cancelling circuit. To lose a little bit of high end, which kind of works for the bridge pickup, but if you're on the neck pickup, it kind of, obviously it's, when you add in the hum cancelling one, because it's so far away, you end up with this split, this distance thing going on, which makes it sound a bit different. Yes, and then the encore, which is the same but full scale, and got basically exactly the same electrics in this, instead of, apart from it's got a 3-way toggle here rather than the second lever. Also, I will need to, in fact I'll just pause it and come back. I'll pause it and come back. And I'm back. So this, I'm not really sure what the brand is. I believe it's made by a company called Sakai. I'll probably need to do a video for to try and hawk this as well. But this has the original whammy bar. I've never seen another one that's still got the original whammy bar. Original knobs, basically all original. I changed the pots because they were seized up. Apart from that, all original tuners and everything. And it's a surprisingly funky little guitar. I've got a funny feeling this might actually be exactly the same scale as that Jim Deacon. Is this going to be a 20? What's the scale like for this one? No, it's Gibson scale. Well, there you go. So it's actually a bigger scale than this. It's just squeaky straps. And the treble arm actually works really well, and it returns to pitch. I was using this a wee bit on the live stream on Sunday night, just to get it out, but I think I might do it proper, because the sound doesn't seem to work as well on the live stream as it does just now, even though it's the same mic. I might do a wee bit of a jam with this, because I quite like it with the fuzz pedals. But I mean, these could go for quite a lot of money now. I got it as part of a trade. So, fantastic. Little quirky. The only thing I don't like about it is it doesn't have dot markings on the edge of the fretboard, so I've just put a wee bit of tape on, which is dead 3D. If it was mine and I was going to keep it, I'd probably maybe drill a wee hole, put black, or maybe just black marker pen or something, because I really need these dots, otherwise I get lost. And that's kind of it for the tradey thing. Looking at stuff I've still got lying about. A wee bass amp. When I say wee, it's much bigger than I thought it was. This is actually kind of what I thought that amp was going to be, size-wise. Fantastic for someone like me in the house, where you get like a pure proper 15-inch speaker, and it sounds great. But it's just that one is 50% bigger. It's also 3 times the power. So this is a 60 watt, I believe. Is it a 60? It's got a return, an effects loop on it, and it's a HCM60B. So it's a 60 watt bass amp. Did I say 15-inch speaker? I think that's a 12-inch speaker. Is it? I should really have looked this up before I did anything. But yeah, anyway, so if anyone's after a good solid amp, at 60 watt, it's just, you get away with gigging with it. Small pubby gigs type things. Got a direct out. It's got a DI on it. So basically, yes, I would gig this, no problem. Basically use it as a monitor on stage, and then just run the DI out into the PA, and you're laughing. Would do for rehearsal rooms. It would do for rehearsal rooms in my band Cranking House, because we are a sensible volume. The Black Sabbath after the end band, I've got that thing up at full bung. Damn loud. It's like drummer hits the drums awfully hard and the guitarist likes his amp up too loud. So obviously, and I've got that. The 400 watt Marshall. You think you two can drown me out? No, not happening. Yeah, so if anyone's out looking for a bass amp, which is just on the verge of being portable, you get pretty annoyed carrying it for more than 100 yards. It is actually quite heavy, but it's nice and solid. I did do a video of this when I got it, and then to be honest I sort of forgot about it. And this, if I hadn't bought that for a ridiculously cheap and put the band logo on it, I would just have used this. It'd be fine for in here, it'd be perfect for in here, where you get like a sort of with small bass amp, speaker is king, and you need to have a big speaker on it, really, and this does, and it's chunky. So I think that's me up for Tuesday episode 1. Episode 2, I have no idea what's going to happen. I've got a week to think of something, or swap something, so if anyone's interested, drop me a message down there. What am I looking for? This last season I was kind of after a Les Paul eventually. This time, I don't know, probably more guitars and basses, not so much amps, because amps are kind of difficult to get rid of and I don't really know enough about them. But yeah, so rock on, and I'll see you in lots of videos. The time's going to be a wee bit messed up this week because I've already done quite a lot of videos last week that I haven't actually put out. I'm trying to edit them together, so it might be a little bit time warpy. Today is Tuesday. Actually this bit, but not earlier on. Last bit was Wednesday. Catch you later.